Art is too important not to share. Welcome to the Allie and Callie Artcast.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie, and we're with the Arts and Culture Alliance.
Hello, Callie.
Hi, Allie.
It's kind of fun getting back into the swing of things, isn't it?
I feel rusty.
Yeah.
And old.
You feel old?
I do, a little. I need some more sunshine, and I need to get out a little bit more.
Right. The sun was out a little bit ago.
I know. It's getting better.
Away.
We're getting closer.
Right.
I know.
Whew. Well, tonight is one of my favorite nights of the month.
Follow the yellow balloons.
Yeah, it's Art Walk night.
It's Art Walk night. So don't forget to get out there from 5 to 8.
Right.
And see your favorite artists.
Yep, there's lots of fun things going on.
And there's going to be great music. So don't forget.
Right.
It's always a good night.
It is always a good night.
We always usually drink a little wine.
We do drink a little wine. Sometimes we drink more than a little.
Maybe a little.
And then I have to call my husband and
say,
pick me up.
Kevin, come get me.
Please come get me. I have a little too much fun.
I know. It's a good thing I live close. Anyway.
You know, the last Art Walk, he didn't come to do Art Walk with me, but he came down and brought me flowers.
I know. I was with you.
I know. That was really
nice. That was really sweet.
He kept walking by Studio 107
it was so
with these flowers, and I'm like, what is he doing?
I know.
And then he came in. He likes to be sneaky.
I know. And I thought, what did he do?
Or obvious.
I know. And I thought, what did he do? Was he in trouble?
I know.
I know.
And all night I'm carrying these flowers around. And people are like, what's going on? I said, my husband brought them. And they'd say, did he get in trouble?
I can't remember the last time I got flowers. It just doesn't happen. This is my anniversary month, though.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to go down to San Diego.
25 years.
25 years of sheer marriage. Oh, my God.
Okay, that was perfect.
Just kidding.
I might use that.
Marriage. Marriage. For all you Princess Brides fans. Anyway, no, it'll be fun, though. We're going to go. He's actually working, but I don't have to work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go down and enjoy the sun.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a long time.
That'll be great.
That's all I've got going.
Because we live in North Idaho where the sun
sometimes
only shines
when
it feels
exactly.
Like it.
You know, February, March is hard because it's like teasing. It's almost there.
I know, it's almost
there.
We're
so close.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
Oh, the other exciting thing is that I think the cover is actually going to go over the stage.
Oh, my gosh.
At Riverstone.
I can't wait.
I know.
It has been a long,
grueling process.
And when it's there, we will kiss the cement.
We will kiss the post.
Every
and
post.
Hopefully it won't be cold and our lips won't
freeze to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be so nice. And the first concerts are in July.
Right, July 6th.
July 6th. Okay.
In New Jack City.
New Jack City,
yeah.
Max.
We are going to have the
that's going to be so much fun.
Party.
That is going to be fun.
Yep, I'm inviting all the people that contributed to the
cover. So Frank.
Yeah, so cross your fingers that
it's going to happen. It will. There will be no more glitches.
Yeah, no more glitches.
It's going to be awesome. So, yay. Thank you to all our sponsors and everyone who's made that project happen.
Right.
You can do it.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. Anyway,
well, I'm excited to have Julie Powell in the house.
Yes. Hello Julie Powell.
Hello. Thank you so much for being here.
So, let's see.
My pleasure.
How long have I known Julie Powell?
Oh,
I think since 1994 or 95.
Wow.
I believe. Seems about right. I'm sure. I think I saw you on stage first before we actually met.
I think
back when 1990, when there was the Northwest Summer Playhouse, and there was also Coeur d'Alene Summer Theatre took a break.
Right.
For
that year.
And then the Northwest Summer Playhouse and Coeur d'Alene Summer Theatre, and then that happened for a couple years, and so I watched you on stage.
I think our first show we did was, I believe, was the duck show and the doll.
HMS
Pinafore. I was like, somebody help me. What's the name?
Oh,
that was
that was memorable. memorable.
Yeah, it was very memorable. We were in a toy shop, and it was Gilbert and Sullivan.
Ooh.
And Julie was the lead.
I was a doll.
I was a doll.
And I was the duck.
A duck.
Quack, quack.
But she was lovely. As
I think
always.
it worked. I think it worked.
It was fun.
Nobody else did it around the country.
No one
after
else.
that, I don't think. Maybe it would catch on and everybody would be doing it.
What a great idea.
Sorry, Roger, if you're listening.
Or maybe you did it so well that
It could never be recreated.
done again.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, Julie Powell not only is a fabulous singer, actress, wonderful human being, but she's also a wonderful music teacher. Been teaching for 32 years.
32 years.
32.
Wow.
Yes.
I took all in the Coeur d'Alene School District. I took 1 year leave of absence to take care of my grandbaby Danny, who was needed somebody to help take care while my daughter Bailey worked, and so so it would be 33. If not for that, but it's been. Yeah.
Wow.
That's been an adventure.
Well, tell us about yourself, your background, and what brought you to music.
Okay, let's see. I can't talk about myself without, at least in relationship to being in Coeur d'Alene, without talking about my family. My dad bought Beebe's Pharmacy from Jack Beebe in 1976. We were living in Spokane at the time, and he'd always wanted to have his own pharmacy. So Jack Beebe, real estate man in town, lots of Beebes around still. He I think, bought some bowling alleys and went into real estate. So he sold his pharmacy to my dad because they were college buddies at the University of Montana. So that's when we moved to town, to Hayden Lake, and it was just a great place to grow up. We lived on Avondale Lake, and we had horses. We had this unfinished house and then finished it, and of course had a barn and some property. And so I always tell this story, especially to kids at school, and they're like, "Oh man, you are so old," when I tell this story. When I moved here and we first got our horses, we could get on them at the north end of Avondale. So, in Hayden Lake, north of Miles Avenue, and we could ride all the way down on Lacey Avenue, and then we would hit Highway 95, and it was trails. It was bridle paths. There wasn't a bike path yet, and it was mostly trail and forest, and there was one stop sign at Hayden Avenue, if I remember correctly, and then we rode the horses all the way down to Best Avenue, where the McDonald's was. And this is true, I'm not lying, I have pictures. There was a corral and a hitching post at McDonald's. So we could hitch our horses and go inside and get a hamburger and then ride home.
I love that.
Things have changed.
Yes. Yes, they have.
Hitch our ride at the McDonald's.
But to arts and theater, Coeur d'Alene Summer Theatre was around at that time. I mean, we started going at the little playhouse, where the Lake City Playhouse, that little church, and it was called Carousel Players.
Right.
We would go see it, and then I loved choir. So at Coeur d'Alene High School, Jean Terhark was my choir teacher, and I loved it so much. In fact, I can still remember, I sing the body electric, when I got to sing and dance. I loved the classical music, and I loved doing that, solo ensemble contests and stuff. But I that memory of doing musical theater piece, I think, what's that from? Fame. And we were wearing glow tape, and it was lights out and glow tape, and we danced to it. And
fun.
So that's when I knew I liked musical theater, and I really liked it enough to choose it as a career. And then went to University of Idaho and got a K-12 music education and a vocal degree as well, did the recitals and did all that. And then came back and got a job teaching at Coeur d'Alene High School. So I was a choir director at Coeur d'Alene High School from 1990 to 1993. I was there for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then moved to Bryan Elementary, and I'm still there now. I kind of came and went. I taught at Lakes. I taught at Dalton. I was only 4 years old. Yeah. It's a very young
young.
Yeah. Exactly.
She was a prodigy.
All grade levels, every grade.
Right.
You've been at all the schools, though.
I almost, a few of the newer ones that have
come up.
We do workshops. We have big jamborees and choral stuff, choral festivals that we have. And so kids, I'll see them all over town, and they'll recognize me because I'll be the one that led the funny warm-ups at these events and stuff. So music students are pretty familiar, will recognize me in my, but it's been a fun career. I love it.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. It's one of the things that's attached to the levies. It's a good time to talk about
the Coeur d'Alene
School District
Bring it up.
right now.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so elementary music, elementary PE, elementary art, and the things that enhance the regular school curriculum and give teachers a little bit of time to plan and get ready for the week during the school day. That's what we do as music elementary specialists, and those are definitely attached to the supplemental levy. There's 2 parts to the levies we're trying to pass right now, and the one is a safety and maintenance levy, which is a 5-year levy, and it'll be done once it's done. That's repairs and things that just have been, they're calling it a deferred maintenance levy because it's things that they haven't had enough money to do to maintain.
Right.
And then the supplemental levy is one that we've passed, I think, since like 1986 or something. I don't quote me on that, but it's been a long time. And that one passes year after year after year because many Idaho residents don't know this, especially if they're new to the state, but the legislature will do that, like pass a mandate, like say you have to provide busing for students if they're 1 mile or more from the school that they're supposed to attend, and but then they only reimburse the districts 85% of that. So that leaves it up to the voters and the residents of that area to
pay the
pick
difference.
up the slack. And so and it's the same thing, like where they're mandated by the state to enhance and support this necessary curriculum of PE and art and music and all that, but it's not funded. The state doesn't give any money for like my salary, and so this supplemental levy is pretty much what makes the district work well, you know, instead of, because it's a quarter of our budget. It's a quarter of the overall working budget. So,
and it's so important. It's so important.
Yeah.
We talked about that with Brett Depew from Sorensen about how important it is for us to foster creativity in our kids.
Yeah. Problem solving, creative solutions, joy. Because then what's the point of it all if there's no joy?
Right,
and
exactly.
It's a way to express their feelings and a way to, it's so important. And it's not just that. It's not just the arts. It's buses.
Right.
I mean,
well,
and food.
And
shelter.
Athletics, you know, some kids.
Yeah.
I mean, all of those programs are so important.
Yeah. So that's March 15th.
March 14th.
Sorry, 14th.
Yeah.
Get out the vote. 4 days after our walk, right? We'll hand out flyers and talk about it.
Yeah. We need to make sure that people get out and vote.
Yeah.
Get
Please
out
do.
and
Absolutely.
It's important.
Educate yourself.
The kids are our future, people.
They are.
Right. It's a good
Let's not
investment.
forget about them.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you go to your title company and you want them to cross the T's and dot the I's and make sure everything is legal and up to scratch. And you better have an educated person handling all of those things. And it's necessary for society to function. So the ideologies that don't support that just baffle me. And there's people out there that are really talking against this levy. So it's important to
just crazy.
Anybody you know that might just forget, like, I'm not even sure I should say this out loud, but I don't think my husband and my son, I think they just got busy, and then the one that failed in November, they just, even though I reminded them in the morning, So here's a little tip, although it'll be too late by the time this airs, but you can always get it on mail-in voting. I did that last year, and it made it so much easier, because then you can also read about what you're voting for while you're filling out your ballot and sending it.
I love absentee voting. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what Allie's already done.
I've already done it.
Nice, good.
She's ahead of the game.
I'm ahead of the game.
I noticed.
Well, it helped that there was only one choice on the ballot. So
was it?
I didn't have to.
Two, though? Well, there should have been two.
Well, I'm in post-fall.
She's in post-fall.
We just had the one.
Yeah. There'll be two in mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Right.
then maintenance and operations.
But
and
I mean, there weren't, there weren't other things to vote for, so it
Sure.
didn't take a huge amount of time. I knew exactly what I was going to do and did it.
Got it done.
Yep.
Right there. I think that's. I think that originally, whenever this was whenever our bylaws and constitution, all that were created, they wanted local control of each. They wanted the communities to be able to control the schools and control and plan it on their own, which I get that. I mean, that's, you can honor that for sure, but you can't. You have to have schools. I mean, if the ideology turns against it, then you have to have a safety net. So.
And as we get bigger, as our
Yes.
city keeps getting, it's not
Growing.
I don't call it a town anymore. It's a city.
It's a
yeah,
little
feels
city,
like it.
yeah.
And it's getting bigger and bigger. And
There's no hitching post at McDonald's
there's
anymore.
no
Exactly.
corral. Let's just think of
What do
that.
I do with my horse?
We have bike passes
Where do
and
you
a
put
horse.
your horse, Julie Powell?
Knock, 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 knock.
We wonder about that.
Yeah, exactly. And that another little important point about that, it won't make anybody's taxes go up because it's a replacement of a levy that runs every 2 years anyway, the supplemental levy. So when I spoke with Marissa Owen, our vice principal at Bryan this morning, to just make sure I had all my facts straight before I started talking about them, and she was like, no, in fact, probably most people's taxes will go down, even because our voter base has spread out so much. What, 12,000 new residents in Kootenai County alone now?
Oh, wow.
I think is what I've been hearing.
Oh,
Yeah.
so because on this sheet I'm looking at, it says like it's $76 per 100,000 taxable assessed value.
Yeah.
But it would
It'll
go up to
1904
per 100,000 more, so it'd be 95. But if we have more
per year, 95 per year is not very much
it's
money.
not that much. But if we have more people, you're right, it might not even go up.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
It's really interesting to listen to the administrators describe how schools are funded and how the taxes are dispersed. I got to hear at my Kiwanis group, the Post Falls administration came and spoke about the levy in Post Falls and really broke it down for everybody. And it was really great information.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our administrators are doing that too. They came to Bryan School last week and are trying to just answer people's questions, talk to the people that are in the game, right? And ask them about what it's all about. So I know, and fun fact, in 2005, I think the Idaho Supreme Court ruled that Idaho doesn't fund their schools to the constitutional mandate, really. But that was a long time ago, and so and nothing has changed. They would have to change the law to, I think, and again, don't quote me on this because I'm not a lawyer for sure, but I think Idaho is the only state in the 50 United States that doesn't fund school buildings from state taxes. So I think we're the only ones that have to constantly
come up with
pass these levies, and people are, for many reasons, and many of them I understand, people are pinching pennies. And our hearts go out to that, but you still need educated population. You just
Absolutely.
things will just get worse if we don't have educated kids.
Hey, ladies, have you heard about NIA yet? Hi, I'm Marilee Wallace, and I'm a proud board member of the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance and owner of NIA. That's short for the North Idaho Alliance. We specialize in leadership development, specifically focused in connecting women to programs, workshops, and networking to educate, empower, and enrich their lives. Our goal is to make positive impacts in the community while helping other women in North Idaho succeed. Next up is our annual Onward and Upwards Women's Conference set for May 24th, and our new event, Women with Cool Jobs, scheduled for early summer. And then keep a lookout to register for our super popular Women of Impact Leadership Roundtable series. That begins every September. So I hope you'll look us up. We're at thenorthidahoalliance.com. Find us on Facebook or just give us a call, 208-660-1557. Go out and make it an impactful day.
So, Julie, I want to hear more about what your day-to-day work life is like at Bryan.
Oh, sure. That's honey, how was your day today? Okay. Well, I am a 0.7 position. So that means I am 7/10 of a full-time contract, which was my choice after I came back after my leave of absence, just so I could still do a lot of the help care for Danny stuff. So I work Tuesday afternoons through Friday, and I do all the classes at Bryan School in that time. And I also run, so meaning an elementary music classroom. There, I focus on 3 different things. I focus, of course, on singing. I focus on instruments, steady beat instruments, and then general performing skills and stuff. And that's pretty much my day. We'll be doing. If you came to visit my classroom, you'd see us singing, or you'd see us playing. We have lots of Orff xylophones in the classroom, like lots through the years. Thank you, Excel Foundation.
Nice.
Because they don't last forever. Those kids love to pound on them. So, and, over 30 years, we've had to replace lots of parts and stuff. So we do that, and I use, there's a music kind of philosophy called the Orff method, and I do use that a lot. It means educating the whole child and using the whole child's brain, if you will, to make them have a full body music experience with lots of singing and lots of playing instruments, and then lots of moving and dancing. So the Orff method will maybe introduce, like it might start, let's say it's a kindergarten class, it might start with a story, so like 5 little frogs. We did that last week. 5 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log. So I would read a story to them, or they could watch a fun video of it. And then we would take that, they would do it with finger motions, and we would sing it again. And then we would move it to the music room floor, and there would be kids that were the speckled frogs, and then the other kids are playing the simple chords on the xylophone, and then other kids are in the back and keeping a steady beat with the drums, and then we switch, and then other kids are steady. And so it looks a lot like that in the younger grades. A lot of literature, I guess, if you can call 5 green and speckled frog literature, but you can really. There's also lots of fun. The pat fish. Oh, the pout fish with the pout face, and I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. It's this fish that goes around the bottom of the sea, and he's frowning. And he wants all his other creatures in the sea want to figure out how to turn his frown into a smile. They want to turn his frown upside down. So then he goes around, and you can add in a music curriculum. You just go around the room. There's scarves, and so those can be the little seahorses. And then there's the low xylophones, and those are the big deep fish. Maybe it's a shark or something. And then the little eye instruments, and those could be the crabs running along. And so they do that. And then when we get in 3rd grade, we start in recorders, and so the school makes a lot of fun of me. I spend a lot of time in the teacher's lounge scrubbing and sanitizing recorders. Oh boy! Each kid gets their own, and I tape their name onto it so nobody shares a recorder. Right. And we just have this terrific curriculum that for recorders. I kind of hated recorders too, for a long time, because it was, you'd run off all these papers, and the kids would have the papers on their lap, and then they'd be trying to blow the right way and left hand over right, and they'd be honking and looking down at the left. But now in our Quaver music curriculum, also funded by the supplemental levy, it's videos, and so there's the hot cross buns. Everybody plays hot cross buns in the recorders, right? That's how they play B-A-G, B-A-G. Well, it's this whole video, and there it is up on the screen. So kids are sitting up on the cajones. Thank you, Excel Foundation, again, for cajones. Those are box drums that you sit on. Every kid's sitting on their own colorful little cajon, and they can look up at the screen, and the notes go by. So it's hot cross buns. Well, so they play hot crust buns the song, and they repeat, and then it goes to the B section in the middle, and it's a rap. Hot crust buns are a thing of plenty. You need a plane or a extra fruity, blah, blah, blah. And so they can stand up and they rap, and then recorders are really fun now. There's the glue blues. So when they learn G, the last of the three fingers, G, then the glue blues comes along, and it's this interesting rhythm that they do, and the text or the words match what they're playing, the rhythm of what they play on the recorders. So they're learning that rhythm, and it repeats, but it holds their attention because it's so fun. So it's this video. Let's see. So that's third grade recorders, super fun. Oh, and the third graders always do a Veterans Day assembly. So they're the ones that sing and lead the patriotic songs and sort of lead the assembly and educate everybody about facts of Veterans Day. And usually there's some sort of kazoo song to crack everybody up. Lots of choreography. We do all of the service songs. Yeah. Our custodian, Jim, he loved that this year. He's a Marine, an ex-Marine. So he's like, wow, they sang they sang the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, every branch. It was brutal.
Did they sing the CB song?
The CB song? What's the
We're
CB
the CBs of the Navy.
No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, my ex-husband was a
would
CB.
Sing the CBs?
And he would sing that to me all the time.
Yeah. No.
I've just...
to look into that one time.
That's not a popular one. Thank you.
Okay. So, and then when they get to fourth grade, and third graders can join choir. So I have a choir program too. Third, fourth, and fifth graders can come before school on Thursdays, and it's an hour. 1 hour once a week all year for kids that want to learn extra singing stuff. So that's a cool thing. We do workshops that are district wide. This year we Skyway hosted it, and so I usually get about it's like 30 and up to 40 kids that join, and it's terrific.
That's great.
They just sing good quality basic singing skills, and with some classic stuff. It's always going into the holidays, so we do some of the most beautiful Christmas songs and Hanukkah songs and Kwanzaa songs, and
then they get a chance to perform.
And then they perform. We performed at Fig Pickles this year.
Cool!
Yeah,
that's cute.
Well, it wasn't exactly at Fig Pickles. It was on
right
the
there.
stairs above Fig Pickles, and so that was really fun. And and third, fourth, and fifth graders can do that. Then by fourth grade, they can also join marimbas. So at Bryan School, we have a marimba program, which is, I don't know if you know much about marimbas. They're African pitched percussion instruments, and we focus on Zimbabwe music. And they learn it like all by rote and it's oral listening and learning and auditory and kinesthetic. They learn how to read music when they're doing recorders, or even ukulele. They're reading chord charts and stuff. But marimbas, it's all just by memory and get it in your body and do it. So
when I think of marimbas, I think of when I worked for the college, our department went and did a team building exercise with marimbas. And it takes a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
You have to work together. It's a great exercise.
Yeah. Your part might just be da 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 da, and that's it. That's your whole part.
Yeah.
But you have to know when to play it, and you have to know how fast to play it. You have to know how loud to play it. You have to do it while everybody else is also keeping the same steady beat and stuff. I think it's a perfect team building thing for sure, because you have to work together.
And it was
just
fun.
falls apart. And it's so fun.
And you made music.
Yeah.
So we have, and we're plugging along. We limped our way. I rehearse them on Fridays because Tina Gospinich, she directs the Coeur d'Alene Corimba, the adult marimba band, which I also play in because it's just a blast. It's like therapy on Tuesday nights. You can bang on things really loudly. So anyway, she volunteers at many schools in the district. So the only day we could get her is Friday. So we limped along and missed a lot of Fridays because of Thanksgiving and because of Christmas break and because of whatever days. So, but we're getting our momentum now, and I think we have like 5 songs they rehearse on Fridays, and that's for 4th and 5th graders. So we do that 1 hour before school. And then let's see, what haven't I talked about? Just the 4th and the 5th grader, they're starting to get a little bit older and not as excited about singing like 5 green and speckled frogs or the pout fish. So we do a lot, like I do ukuleles with them, and we do a lot of cajon stuff, drumming cajon stuff. And then the kids that want to sing, I've got lots of microphones set up, and they can lead the songs, and it's a blast. Our art teacher works with us. And in fact, we have concerts, not with the older kids, but I have a 1st grade and a 2nd grade concert next week, and super fun.
Oh, cool.
Cute.
Yeah, lots of singing and dancing.
That's fun. When do you think you'll ever perform again?
Well, I have an audition in with CST. I auditioned with them, so I will not open my mouth and say anything yet because there hasn't been any cast list announced, but that would be great. And I do, I still have been performing because Karimba, and it might be at whatever, an assisted living home or whatever. That totally is performing, let me tell you, especially when you're slipping the marimbas around that weigh about 100 pounds a piece.
Right.
Yeah. And we do some gigs around town. COVID slowed everything down, right?
Of course.
For all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but we kind of kept, since we play outside, since the marimba bands play outside, we kept our little momentum going. We wore masks and we stayed away from each other. And
That's good.
Cool.
Yes.
Good. So you've done a lot of musical theater, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Tell us a little bit about some of your favorite roles.
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. Which are my favorites?
I know which my
Memorable.
favorite of hers was. Cinderella.
Oh, Cinderella.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's just plain my
Tell
favorite
them about
show.
the birds.
Okay, so this is Stephen Sondheim's Into the Woods, and if you're familiar with that show or not, it brings all these fairy tales together, characters together, and their stories collide in the woods, and instead of a happy ever after at the end of Act 1, everything goes wrong. And so then at the opening of Act 2, there's faced with these problems. How do we get rid of the giant? She's smashing our forest and stuff. So I was Cinderella, and she ends up it's kind of a running joke that she can talk to the birds, right? So which part of it's getting warming up to, it's in the 2nd act. Yeah. And she's on stage with the baker. I think maybe the wife has been smushed by that. But so and I don't know if she calls the birds or if they come down. I'm not sure of that specifically, but so the birds come down, and it's been working great for show after show after show after show, but for some reason the birds come down and one little bird comes loose and goes and splash on the stage right in front of us, and I'm like, what did we? 1,200 people just watched this poor little bird crash to the stage along with all of us on. And so I don't even know why I did it. And to this day, I can't tell you if it was the right thing to do. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know what Stephen Sondheim, rest his soul, would have said about it. But it's on the ground in front of me. And so I say, excuse me, I have to go bury this bird. I grabbed it and I ran on stage. And I came back and I crossed myself like a good Catholic, and we carried on the scene and tried not to lose it. So
oh my God, I love that.
That's right. Yeah, so Cinderella.
That was a good one.
Cinderella, for sure, because it just never got boring. Ever. Not that performing anything is boring ever. A live performance is so, you're always adjusting and thinking and having to solve these problems. But that show, right. I remember learning that show, and Stephen Dahlke was the music director.
Oh my God.
I had a hard time.
It's hard.
A long career of teaching music and doing difficult things. It's
the hardest show I've
orchestras but it's not like you don't get to. It's not the meter changes so much. So you might be doing. He's a very smart prince. And the prince who prepares. Rest. Knowing that Simon run from him. Rest. And so there was never any. You can't fall into a rhythm and relax inside your head, you're always having to go 1, 2, rest, until you do it correctly so many times, then you
finally,
But like to this day, if somebody said, "Hey, sing that song," I would get it correct.
Yeah,
I would sing it
because that
wrong.
was the one I had the hardest time on.
Yeah.
Because I was the baker's wife.
That's right.
And I did it a couple years ago, whenever it was. And I feel like I'm a good musician.
Right.
Until that song.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought, this is the hardest thing. And David Brewster was the music director, and I was like, I'm sorry, you should fire me. I just can't do it. I don't know. He goes, no, you can.
And then did he say, stop everything you've learned?
Yeah, and
learn it from scratch.
And just
while you count.
And I think I had to, like, I was slapping my leg, trying to get it right,
skipping around,
and just doing anything, and it was just so hard, and I just had to get out of my head.
Yep.
And it just became very difficult.
I can remember driving across the Rathdrum Prairie and thinking, I'm not a crier. I don't cry over things like this, but I'm so stressed. I'm crying. We open in 5 days and I still can't get it. So, it all turned out in the end.
It did.
And
you were brilliant.
You were brilliant. Nobody knew inside my head I was going 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. But I mean, it's good for you to learn that.
Yeah.
And then I did. I think so. Back in the days of when we did it at the Playhouse, we just had a piano player. She was a fabulous piano player, but she wasn't going to go, stop, you missed that beat, stop, you came in and
played with
followed us.
But when you have an orchestra,
I was the witch then. But no, you can't. When you have an orchestra, you have to do it correctly, and really you should do it correctly anyway. But, but no, it depends on how much time you put into it when you're volunteering. So
you're like, just follow me.
So that show for sure. And then I got to go to Eugene one summer. That was really fun. And I was Sally Bowles in Cabaret.
Oh, wow.
Which was really fun. So that's an experience I won't forget and sticks out in my mind because it's not Coeur d'Alene. I got to go Darcy Wright and I. In fact, that's a funny story too, is that I worked with, his name was Tobias, and we did Northwest Summer Playhouse
Tobias
together
Anderson?
for that summer.
I worked with him.
Yeah, from Portland. He's such
love
a great
him.
So, and he said, hey, you should talk to Ed Regazzino, the director of the Eugene Festival of Musical Theater, because they're doing Sally Bowles. You should. And so he kind of hooked me up with, and I called Ed Regazzino, and he said, sure, come down and audition. And then when he called me to make the audition, set up the time and the date and stuff, Darcy Wright was on my answering machine. Singing on the answering machine. We did just some dumb thing, we spend too much time doing these things. So she sang on my answering machine, and Ed said, hey, was that a little girl singing on your answering machine? Was that your daughter? No, she's just a good friend of mine. And well, we're also doing Ruthless, and we need a lead for Ruthless. So she ended up driving down to Portland with me, and Eugene.
Wow.
And we auditioned, and she got the lead role in Ruthless.
Wow.
So we stayed that summer, had a little house, and stayed in Eugene.
Fun.
And
so fun.
Did those 2 shows, and that was a huge stage at the Holt Center in Eugene.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that was really fun. And Sally Bowles, man.
Yeah, that's a great role.
I watch the video, and sometimes I think, hey, I was pretty good. And then sometimes I think, and I'm like, that really? Why did I do it that way? That's a hard role, so.
Hey y'all, it's Jason from Tubbs Coffee Roasters. We are North Idaho's specialty coffee roaster. We are homegrown and we are local. We love coffee and we love our community, especially Allie and Callie and Artcast. We have a retail space in our roastery in Hayden, and we can also be found on the shelves at Super One and Yokes. And if you like to buy coffee online, we do offer subscriptions. You can find us at tubbscoffeeroasters.com. Support arts and culture and your local roaster. That's all.
So what's next for you?
Yeah.
What is next for me? Hopefully some really fun adventures. Have you ever heard of the Enchantments in Washington? They're part of the Cascades.
I have not.
The Enchantments are part of the North Cascades, and so they are glorious, but they're really hard to get to. And so you have to be willing to train pretty hard and hike a lot and have a certain level of fitness because, some people like to go and like backpack into them. It's the specific trail that I'm talking about is a 24-mile stretch, and it goes from a place called Kolchak Lake, the parking lot that goes into a place called Kolchak Lake. And these are all high mountain glacier lakes. So, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 feet. It's glorious. And then you hike all the way through that 24-mile stretch and then end up near Leavenworth and at the Snow Lakes parking lot. So we've done that several times. So we like to we've done it 3 times. In fact, the first time we got lost, my friend Birgit and I, who do these adventures, and we were a little cavalier and we'd be like a podcast on how not to handle going into the back country because we didn't have. Luckily, people around us took care of us, but we went all the way down this wrong ridge and got lost, and really it could have been a big drama because you can't. It's a popular area, and so you can't, if you're in a backpack in it, you have to enter a lottery, and then they pick you or they don't pick you year after year, and then you can stay the night up there because it's just so intense. If something goes wrong, it's helicopters and life flights, and you can't drive. There's no way to drive there. So anyway, if you want to do it, experience it in one day, all you have to do is fill out the form and make sure you have 2 cars, one at the beginning and one at the end. So anyway, we're training for that. Once you get up this pass, you hike into Kolchak Lake. That's about 4.5 miles of super intense elevation gain, but not as hard as when you get to Kolchak Lake. Then there's this beautiful pass called Asgard Pass. I think once these mountains were all discovered, these like Lord of the Rings nerds named them all. Dragon Tail Peak, there's Asgard Pass. And then you have to climb up, and it's like, I don't know, 2,000 foot elevation gain over just 1 mile. So practically rock climbing. Right. But then once you get to the top of Asgard Pass, it's this chain of the most beautiful icy blue, green, that beautiful alpine lake colors. And you just, that's why they call them the enchantments. They're enchanting. So you go there and there's 7 or 8 lakes just right in a row. And you hike along. That's about a 3-mile stretch, and then you have to lose all the elevation you gain and you go back down. So that, and probably we'll go climb Mount Adams again this summer.
That's 24 miles, and you would do that in a day?
Yep. She's a serious hiker.
You eat while you walk.
There's no stopping.
Go. Because you want to get to that
running
before dark.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I am slowing down for sure at the age that I am now. But it's part of, I guess, who I am, what I want to do.
Have you ever done the Pacific Crest Trail?
I've done parts of it. Yeah. In fact, I did a 50-mile run on the Pacific Crest Trail from San Diego all through the Oriflame Desert. And I'd have to go back and look at the map again, but my cousin lives down there in San Diego. So, and she's married to an ultra runner. So after my marathons started getting so slow, I knew I was never going to run a faster marathon again. I thought, well, maybe I can go a little farther. And so I had ventured out into ultra marathons, 50 miles. And I did one along.
See, I said 1,000. She does 1,000 miles.
Maybe over a period of time, right? Yeah.
My daughter's a hiker also.
It's so beautiful.
She and I have talked about doing part of the Pacific Crest Trail together. And I would love to do that.
Sure, and the Continental Divide, right? We've done another ultra, the Beaverhead, through the Beaverhead mountain range down out of Salmon. You stay in Salmon and then go along the Beaverhead Trail on the PCT, or not on the PCT, on the Continental Divide Trail, but the PCT, glorious. And then of course the Appalachian Trail someday. Maybe
one day.
When I'm looking forward
Trail,
to
that's where I grew up, in
Oh.
Virginia. So we used to do parts of the Appalachian Trail, but very short. I mean, we're not talking serious
Sure.
hiking. We were just goofing around.
Around, and then you think, oh, I like this, and maybe
Yeah.
if you don't mind sleeping on the hard ground and you're not too
Yeah,
worried
that'd be a
about-
little hard for me these days. But
Yeah, right. I mean, TikTok, the years go by for sure.
Yeah, right.
We'll probably do the enchantments again this summer, but I think probably my ultra running days are over, but I'll still get out there. Like to do, it's the volcanoes that intrigue me, the Cascade volcanoes. So we've done Rainier, and we've done Mount Adams and Mount Baker and Mount Hood, and we went down and climbed Mount Whitney. That's not a volcano, but still, or is it? No, it's the highest peak in the continuous northern United States. So
Oh, wow.
North America. Yeah, Denali is higher, but
Yeah, right.
it's higher than Mount Rainier. So
Wow.
certainly an adventure for sure. Oh, and I think my all-time favorite one is Mount St. Helens.
Right.
We've climbed it twice, and then there's an ultra that goes around it. You circumnavigate the whole mountain, and
Oh,
that's
cool.
50 kilometers.
I've
but you
never
do
really been there. I've driven
everything.
by it, flown over it, but I would love to go.
Yeah, go to the Ape Caves, which were kind of discovered late after the eruption. I think it was a Boy Scouts troop or something discovered that a whole lava flow had taken out. It's a mile long, and it's all caves.
Wow.
They're interesting, right? For sure.
Right.
They're cold, and you better have a headlamp that works. And we've done those.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called the Lewitt Trail. Is it's called the Volcanic 50 the first time we did it, we are hooked. We're going to do this as much till we're too old.
Right.
And we might be. I think I'm too old now to be able to read the cutoffs, right? I mean, because you can't make people go out looking for you at midnight. That's
Right.
kind of
My idea of that
safe.
stuff is bike riding the Hiawatha
Yeah.
Trail and
Oh, sure.
going through the tunnels.
You might see a moose. Yeah.
Yeah, I have not, which
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, it's just a way to see the world, right?
Yeah,
Right.
for
You're not-
sure.
You don't
Enjoy nature.
don't have to
Right.
fly anywhere. Don't have to drive anywhere. You can
We
Yeah.
live in a
Stick
beautiful
around.
country.
Yeah.
We do live in a beautiful
We do.
Yeah.
And our little part is really, we're pretty lucky.
Yes,
we
To live in this gorgeous
are.
Pacific Northwest.
Every day I think about it. Even if there's no more hitching post at McDonald's.
Right.
Well, I grew up riding horses. That was our thing. My sister and I, we spent lots of time. In fact, Marion Crum, my riding instructor, I saw on Facebook, there was just a 90th birthday party for her.
I remember
So she's
her.
a pillar of the
Wow.
community, that lady.
Fun.
Yeah, we took lessons from her for 10 years, which seemed like forever.
Yeah.
When you're 18 years old. Wow, I've been doing this forever.
Wow.
Been doing it for 9 years. So many years, right? You look back and teach for your life, and you teach for 32 years.
Wow.
Like that.
Yeah,
Goes
just
fast.
like that. Thank you.
Well, my son loves you. He had Miss Powell.
yeah.
Powell.
Spell.
Yeah, that was when I was at Fernan. That
Yeah.
was fun for a
Yeah.
while.
Oh,
that was
cool.
right at the end, right before I took my leave of absence and took care of Danny.
Uh-huh.
And then when I went back, I had to sort of choose. Do I go to Fernan or do I go to Bryan? And just numbers wise, it worked out for me to have a 0.7
Yeah.
position. And so I
Yeah.
went to Bryan, and it's just such a great community there.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's
our whole
cool.
school district feels still, even though it doesn't feel like a small town anymore, I do feel like we're still connected to each other.
Which is great.
With our school district. And I think in my little world, a lot of it has to do with we all get together, the music teachers from the 11 elementary schools now, and we're on a lot of the same page and the same curriculum, and kids can go here and go there, and they'll feel like they're still part of a community, even if they had to move from Atlas to
Right.
Bryan or from Winton to Sorensen or whatever. They still see familiar things and familiar faces. So I feel like we're doing a good job
Good.
keeping that
awesome.
community feel that
That's
Coeur d'Alene
great.
should still have.
Well, let's mention it one more time
That's
that
right.
the vote is coming up on
Yes.
March 14th. You can get more information if you go to voteidaho.gov. So go check it out.
And
educate yourself, but
Sure.
make sure you get out and vote.
Yeah, and the Coeur d'Alene District website, the Coeur d'Alene School District 271 website will break it all down, because I do hear that a lot in the community
what
about
am I
what are
voting
they
for?
spending? We want transparency.
That's
right.
What's it all going to go for? Well, it breaks it down.
It tells
Yeah.
you exactly
Supplemental-
where the
yep.
money's going to go.
Which
Yep.
parts and how much go to where, and that's important.
It is important.
It is important.
And
So
I keep saying it's a really good investment.
it is.
It is.
Invest in our kids.
In our kids and our future.
Yeah.
Mankind.
Right. What kind
I mean,
of a
come on.
future? What kind of a world? What do we want Coeur d'Alene to look
Exactly.
like in 10 years and 20 years and 30 years?
Exactly.
And-
Well, Julie Powell, it's been wonderful
such
having
an
you on our
honor
podcast.
and a pleasure.
I mean,
What
I
fun.
think Coeur d'Alene has been so fortunate to have you this all these years, you know, just not only just on stage and off and as a teacher. Oh, it just makes me happy.
Oh, thank
And
you.
she's probably going to cry.
I will, because I'm a crier.
She's
I'm
a crybaby.
crier. But we love you, Julie Powell.
Oh, thank
Yep.
you. And
Thanks
a shout out
again.
to my dad, El Hedman, my sister, Laura Weinker.
Yes,
They
the
got
whole
us
Powell
singing.
family.
Yeah, we
You
sang
know
along.
what? And you've got a lot of teachers in your family too. So
Yeah.
let's shout out to all the teachers
All
out
the
there.
teachers.
All those
'Cause we really
teachers.
wanna
They're good
support-
people.
They are
I
good
promise
people.
they are.
And they're kind of on the front lines.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
work
not-
with these people every day.
Yeah.
And they're wiping noses and
Yep.
tying shoes and giving hugs.
They're
and-
really
Yeah.
they're really there for your kids. So
Yep.
let's
Right.
support them by voting.
Vote. Yes.
Please.
Please.
So I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie, and whatever you do today, make sure it's creative.
The Allie and Callie Artcast is a program of the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance and is sponsored by NIA, North Idaho Alliance, a women-based leadership organization designed to inspire, uplift, and impact your community and lives. And Tubbs Coffee Roasters, globally sourced, locally roasted coffee.